Hi everyone and welcome to the Hockey Man, presenting you the second draft class simulation of the series. Today we're testing out the 2003 draft headlined by Biz Nasty and company. Not a big deal. The Penguins won the cup in the previous simulation, so maybe that will bring a bit of good luck in this one. However, we won't have Crosby on the team, but Fleury makes his comeback to the Steel City as he became only the third ever goaltender to be picked first overall. So we'll go take a look at the lineup we're dealing with. And the first thing that really jumps out at me is that top trio. If you remember in the preview episode, Zach talked about Parise's speed and his ability to contribute offensively, while Segs pointed out Bergeron as being one of the best complementary players in the game. Sambo also talked about Pavelski as one of the most underrated scorers. That line is going to be very intriguing, not only from an offensive perspective and the numbers they can put up, but also defensively as measured with the plus-minus I like to use in this game. It's kind of a hot and cold stat, but it's pretty much the least I can do to evaluate defensive play in NHL 21. The second thing that really pops out is the sheer size of this team. All players in that bottom 9 except for Dustin Brown and Brad Richardson are 6'2" and up, so it's literally a massive team. With big and older players often come skating issues, and that has really been evident in the case of Corey Perry, Louis Eriksson, and David Backes over the last couple of years. So I'm curious what kind of offensive production they'll have despite being a bit slower. And you also have to take into account the simple lack of offensive instincts or abilities for some of these players at this point in their careers. Like Brad Richardson, who has a career high of 31 points back in 2016, Louis Eriksson, who has never scored north of 30 points since joining the Canucks also in 2016, and Brian Boyle, who had 39 points in 112 games in his last 2 NHL seasons before retiring. So that's why those top 2 lines are going to be key for this team's success. We have a pretty darn good line at number 1. The second line has a +5 overall. I mean, Eric Staal does play 4th line in Montreal, but can still put up numbers, can still skate, control the puck well, use his body. So I'm not too worried, and with a +5 overall, whatever that means, it's looking pretty good right now. On defense, it's pretty much a rinse, wash, repeat kind of deal, as the smallest players are Ryan Suter and Brent Seabrook, standing at 6'2" and 6'3" respectively. The core seems very solid and presents some top-notch defensemen. I'll point out, though, that Dustin Byfuglien might be a little overrated at 87, because let's face it, he hasn't played hockey in the last couple of years, but we'll take all the help we can get. Braden Coburn is an option at 81 overall, but I'm kind of a homer, and I'll take the Ottawa hometown guy, who also happened to be a huge asset to the development of one of the best Sens player of all time. Remember Erik Karlsson? Yeah, that guy. Finally, in goal, we have the Flower Power, who just became the 3rd winningest goaltender of all time yesterday too, and Jaro Halak. So that's definitely a bright spot in this team, and I take 0 issues there. Just before we get started with the preseason, if you haven't seen the preview episode for this simulation where we analyzed this team in depth, Sambo predicted 44 wins while Segs and I had them at 42, and Zach at 41 wins. So we're expecting this team to be a fringe playoff team up to a potential top 10 team in the league. I personally think they should be able to pull it off and play at least a round of playoff. So without further ado, let's get the preseason going. So here we go, our first game is against Washington here. I'm really curious what kind of success that first line is going to have. I mean, we talked about it in the opening. That line can score and also defend, so it's a matter of putting up points but also having a solid defensive play through plus-minus. That's how I'm going to evaluate that, like it or not. And also, I'm curious to see what kind of impact Fleury has. Lundqvist in the previous simulation had a sub-900 save percentage. And I mean, at 84 overall, he did okay in that season, but I'm expecting better results from Fleury. We can see here that second line on fire. That's probably the +5 overall, like I mentioned a little bit earlier, with Staal, Getzlaf, Weber on defense. That's a second pair defenseman with 8 points. Usually puts up goals, gets a lot of assists on that one. So he seems to be going. We'll see that first line here. Bergeron 4 points, +3. That's what I'm talking about. Carter -4 on that second line. Go down the line here. Parise 0 points. That's a real surprise. 0 points, 0 plus-minus, and that right wing. There you go. 3 goals, 5 points. Pavelski with a +3. So not a bad start. We'll go check out the goaltender or goaltenders, depending on how many games each played. 5-1-0, 5-1-1 for, or no, 5-1-0. Yeah, I had it right. 916 save percentage. That is perfect. Halak really struggled in that one game. Allowed 3 goals on 23 shots. It's not terrible. I mean, he only took 23 shots, allowed 3 goals. So stats might not reflect the whole story there, but a good start to the season. And the second thing I won't forget, it's about the free agents. And again, I'm expecting Ottawa to sign a bunch of them. LA in that category too. So Aston Reese. Don't forget we got Crosby on the block. Malkin as well. Both drafted by Pittsburgh. Ron Hainsey, Dumoulin to Ottawa. Crosby to Boston. Look at that. So a little shake up here. So you take away Bergeron, that takes off a lot of cap hit, and they're able to sign Sidney Crosby. So that's a pretty good trade-off for them. New Jersey gets Malkin. So the big fish is all gone. Chris Letang to LA. That's pretty interesting stuff. So it shakes out to be another competitive season. And I'm going to sim right up to the trade deadline. And I'll do a little recap once we're there. And we are here at the trade deadline. I'm going to simulate to the trade deadline itself. Obviously, no trades to be made. We'll keep simming, see if there's any blockbuster trades coming out of it. And you can tell by the record, 38, 16, and 8. Outstanding season. Exceeded my expectations by a lot. I mean, I guessed 42 wins. They're 4 shy and about a month and a half, 2 months left of the season. So you can see here, Anaheim, 2 first rounders, Heinola for Shattenkirk and Hutton rather. So that's a fleece job right there. That's essentially 3 first round pick for a washed Kevin Shattenkirk and Ben Hutton. I mean, Winnipeg, I know you need defensive help, but that doesn't help you right now. Maybe a little bit, but not. That's a rough deal. Anyway, couple key takeaways from the season up to date. So we'll go check out the standings here. And you can tell Pittsburgh right here on top in the bottom square below Bergeron. 84 points. And they are sitting 17 points inside a playoff spot. So again, that just goes to show how good this team is. I mean, the Sabres do have 89 points. They are first in the league. We're second in the league. So it's a little sketch that the Sabres didn't get any signings and they're still first in the the league. But yeah, we'll look right past that. But so far, a hot start. We're something like 22-3-4 to start the season. An absurd record. I mean, the Hamburglar could barely do this in Ottawa back in 2015. Good times. But an absolute beast of a team to start the season, including a 6-game point streak starting from Montreal down to Edmonton over here, and then a 16-game point streak starting from a divisional rivals in New Jersey, who, by the way, we've been 3, 4 mostly competitive games with 2-1 scores, but a divisional rival who not only had Malkin, but I didn't bring this up earlier, they signed Jake Gensel. So this was a very good New Jersey team who got a lot of help off free agency, and we were able to beat them 4 times in a row. I think we were playing them maybe once, maybe twice more in the season. But what a beast Pittsburgh is. I mean, it comes with the name, I guess. You can take away Crosby, but you can't take away the winning culture that they have. So a 16-game point streak, that really propelled us to first in the league, now second, as we kind of went just a little bit over 500 through December and January. And then pretty much continued, an ugly 8-1 loss against the Oilers here, pretty much continued through February. So we'll see. We're making the playoffs for sure, and I'll see you before then. Actually, right before the playoffs, I want to check out the stats, show you guys how it's looking. So Bergeron, 56 points in 62 games. producing as top scorer on the Penguins, plus 16. Outstanding stuff. You got the plus 5 line in Stahl, Carter, and Getzlaf. Plus 20, plus 18, and plus 9 down here. Outstanding stuff. One thing I did notice in the preseason was the balanced scoring. I mean, Eriksson had 5 goals in 7 games in the preseason, something that I didn't expect. So we'll see how well he does in this season right now. But right now it's looking really good. Bergeron leading the way. Stahl not far behind. So that second line really stepped up. Parise, 39 points, a fair amount. Defense is looking good too. Oh, that's plus minus. There you go. Bufflin plus 25 points at 87 overall. Ryan Suter, 25 points. Go down the line. Louis Eriksson, 5 goals in 62 games. It's not as balanced as the preseason as he ties his total. But, kind of expected it. And my hometown guy, Mark Mathot, it was 6 points. Not too bad of a total. I keep pressing the left trigger. We'll go take a look at the goalies. 32, 12, and 6. What a record for Fleury. How many wins does that get him in his career? Take a look at that. NHL totals, 897 games played, 500 wins. There you go. A flat number. Outstanding stuff. 921 save percentage and a 2.29. That might be, excuse me, that might be Vezina worthy in the end. And then Halak, 916, 233. He cleaned up his act after preseason. So what a season we have going on right here. So I'll get back to the calendar. Simulate to the playoffs. We'll be in for sure. And I'll get you guys on the other side. So here we are in the playoffs for round 1 against the Tampa Bay Lightning. No surprise we made it after having an outstanding season. We'll go check out the stats real quick. Start with team stats. And there we have it. The Pittsburgh Penguins come away with 113 points with a record of 52, 21, and 9. So really a great season for the Penguins. And down here, the Devils at 71 points with only 32 wins, which is quite surprising considering the sign of Evgeny Malkin and Jake Gensel. And now we'll go check the entire league. So there you go. Sambo predicted would be a top 10 team, or this would be a top 10 team. How about top 1? So there you have it, followed by the Jets, the Leafs, and the Sabres. So a great season to say the least. And we're playing Tampa, the defending Cup champs, if you will. And we'll go take a look at the points. 83 points for Bergeron, good enough to lead the team. Plus 29 for the first line. Second line was Stahl, plus 29 as well. 83 points, 69 points, 62 points. So there's a little bit of a drop-off, but lots of guys producing lots of points. Burns with a 55-point season. So what a year that was for the Penguins. And you see here, Eriksson just added 1 goal. Good enough for 14 points on the year in 82 games. So that bottom 6 really didn't produce a whole lot. I mean, you see Corey Perry, 26 points. Dustin Brown, 29 points on that fourth line. So, and of course, Mark Mathot with 7 points on the year. Big help. You know, take everything we can get. Eriksson minus 12. That's the worst on the team. Go check out the goaltenders. See if there is a Vezina winning goaltender. 43, 15, and 7. I think he should get it. 4 shutouts on the season. 920, 232. Halak with a positive record through 20 games. So, I mean, obviously based on the season, there's no point of changing the lineup for 2 reasons. 1, we've been smoking the league the whole year. And 2, there's not a whole lot of decisions that can be made, of changes that can be made just because of the depth of the draft and not being all that deep. So we'll go ahead and simulate to game number 4 of the first round of the I guess we can call it 2021 Stanley Cup Finals. So 0-2 to start, not good. A big OT win there. This one's crucial. On the road, we get back-to-back 3-2 wins. And we'll keep going. And what a comeback that is. Down 2-0 with a chance to take the series. Couldn't do it. A 6-2 loss. That one hurt. And Game 7 goes to Pittsburgh. And the defending champs have been defeated. So round number 2 up against the Philadelphia Flyers, who just swept, I believe, the Montreal Canadiens. So a 2-1 advantage to start this round. Get tied 2-2. And 3-2. Oh boy. We're in a hole. We're on the road. Up against it, and we get eliminated as our team, who's been thriving offensively all year long, gets shut out in game number 6 of the second round. So that is an absolute win in my eyes. This team has been outstanding, putting up 52 wins, getting to the second round of the playoff. Eric Stahl led the way with 11 points. And if we recap the predictions, we had Sambo with 44 wins. That was their guest. Again, this team blew it out of the water with 52. Segs and I, 42. Zach guessed 41. So really a fantastic simulation. That's awesome. That's the kind of success you like to see. Weber -5. Bufflin -6 in the playoffs. Yeah, we knew speed and skating was going to be a struggle going in. And you see all the guys that have a little bit more trouble skating being in the minus column. Except for a few exceptions, but Bergeron as well, -2. So point-wise, very good. Defensively, just kind of caved in the end. So that'll do it for this simulation. I hope you enjoyed. And I'll get to the draft standings in a second. And real quick, before we get to the draft standings, we'll just simulate and see who won the cup. Just for shits and giggles. Shouldn't take too long as we went to the second round. And there you have it. The Philadelphia Flyers. I had a feeling the Flyers come over with a Stanley Cup victory. Segs has to be ecstatic. He'll be happy about that. And the second thing I want to see is for my boy Fleury. Ottawa first overall jump from 9 to 1. How about that? I just want to see the awards real quick. Come on, I don't care about retired players. Nope, I don't care about coaches. I don't care about the scouts. I don't care about interviews. Still don't care about the scouts. There you go. And the awards right here. Playoff tree, there you go, awards. So Philly with the cup. Go individual awards. And yep. Vezina trophy for Marc-Andre Fleury for the 2020-2021 season. And the Jennings goes to Fleury and Halak as well. There you go. He has a good chance at doing that this year as well. I mean, I've said it before, most athletic, probably top 5 athletic athlete in the National Hockey League. Maybe all time. You can make a case out of that. But he's playing very well this year in Vegas too. So I'd be fired up to see that. Maybe another championship to his name as well. Here are the updated rankings. As no surprise, the 0-3 Penguins beat out the 96-02 Blue Jackets, finishing with 113 points, good enough for first in the league, with a record of 52-21-9 and 48 regulation overtime wins. The goals for were pretty similar, with 249 compared to 231, but the big difference here was the goals against, as he kept it to 198. Their power play percentage was pretty similar, but a little bit better at 19.7%, good enough for third in the league. Their PK was also ranked third in the league at 83.2%. Their save percentage was calculated at 91.9 compared to the Blue Jackets at 906. There's a little bit of a mistake I made in the previous simulation where I marked it at 903, but that's a little bit more reflective of that team. The point leader is Patrice Bergeron at 83 points, followed by Eric Stahl at 69. Patrice Bergeron also led the team in scoring with 38 goals, and Jeff Carter trailed him with 28 goals. The plus-minus leader was Shea Weber at plus 36. So that'll do it for this episode of the 03 draft class. I hope you enjoyed watching. Feel free to like, subscribe, and share. And stay tuned for the OV draft coming up next week with, of course, the preview episode with the boys on the mic. Have a good one.